Fresh meat, cat's heat, steamed stone, gowns gleamed, thighs steamed and sore. Herbs grown, no shown pure, but still the fragrance, homey, honey rod, land of rod and vine, land divine of yours and mine, land of nod for yes and blink for no. You're sure? You're not? You were. Our current state, stippled in anticipatory place of glory, hope the story ends in happy. He's a strapping, exemplary example, such a sample. Spun and crumpled, hair ruffled, sheets tumbled, kinks unwound, and breasts unbound. Her nipples pink and petal perfection. My affection is for blossoms bloomed, for crowded rooms, for packs led simply. Crippled, crutched by your catch, your crush, your grab, your lust, your snatch and rush, your lust, your lush attention sampled, your clutch, my berries brambled, handled, bottomed out.
When I left to the west for the best, how was I to know that kiss would be the last time I ever felt the tenderness in your lips? Though I did understand the strain of a long-distance relationship, I knew that you'd be the casualty of this consequence. Friends were like, really, so then that's it? Yeah. Well, all of it, did you have any regrets? Nah. Because I knew what I was doing was for both of our benefits. You knew better than the next how the scene was getting hectic. It seemed that we was doing more harm than good, stepping on each other's chests. I was out of options and had to do what made sense. I needed time to collect, time without stress, time to figure out where I was taking my quest. That night you cried, swollen-eyed, until you finally slept. And in the morning you sighed, because eventually you'd forget why it hurts to love. And why when I left you said, baby, don't go. So we try to keep the people in a state of dilate. Phone calls and emails just to keep up and communicate. Things weren't bad, but they sure weren't great. It rapidly became evident that the lack of physical presence quickly turned conversations irate. My mistake. I thought the sex was equate, not its deciding fate. Fun fact that a hot glass cracks when it touches a cold plate. You did this and I did that. Woe is me, spoke the monkey of his jealousy leeching on his back. Bend the tree at a fragile leaf and watch the branch go snap. Matchmaking made me a match that when snapped went from a flame to a flick of the black. I always knew you couldn't tame a wildcat with claws that tend to scratch. It's just the same that it ended with a splat, wondering why you ever said, baby, don't go. So a little birdie told me that you was doing your thing. I mean, not that I would ever complain. You've been playing the game, wiping the city clean. Me, I've been piecing together my fortune and fame, watching random patterns scattered throughout the light and light me, hoping that once it happens to strike me, and the pitter-patter of pain gets washed away by the pouring rain. Small worlds mean paths will get crossed again. And you can introduce me to him as an old friend from your way back when. And when we separate and walk away, I'll think about the end, the middle, and how it all began. How the hourglass never replaces those grains of sand. About what could have been, but mostly about that night I wiped your tears away and savored a tight embrace. How I said I loved you and just how lovely was your face when you said, baby, don't go.
With death in his pouch and a murdered mother, the spirit of rain. With a republic of his own and a kingdom shared with 27 queens, hundreds of subjects, just one king. The original black president. Instead of a spear, he wielded a horn. In place of a bayonet, a lashing tongue. And bits upon bits that exploded on impact upon hips and swollen lips through chest cavities and cages of ribs. A true conquest of minds and hearts, surrendered and given up on sight. No need for war, just the battle cries were more than enough. He deflected ammunition with gyrations, defeated zombies with musical incantations, countered brutality with a broken language, and set ablaze an entire continent with pandemic consequences of musical proportions and amalgamated measurements of all rhythms and every tempo, all fears and every anxiety, all dreams and every success story to be found in our tiny speck of a ring of influence, our time in our planet, our entire history, and our whole of a universe. Music was the weapon then. The means, the purpose, the end. The be-all and try-all shapes and sizes of lacking everything there is to lack. The water to harvest tomorrow. The amount of dirt to rinse out all of yesterday. The jurisdiction over one's own basket mouth to clutch the drip, drop, leakage, and drain. The no-nation coffin head of state that walked around just whacking dead ends into pathways and molding submission out of superstition. A lie and a wanton need. Music is the weapon still. As color mentality continues to strengthen its hold, again foreign nations with foreign states of the Union address what I require, my complete absence of want, my very own kind of a one-fist-fits-all brand. Clench my throat for my fingers are not long enough. Fiddle my loud mumblings and disquiet, for I am in constant fear of yet again succumbing to my own desires. And music will be the weapon forever. For forever flows only in verses, never in prose, same as fear does. Let us all know if you lose it to work on this here secret of life. In non-existent nations, no international thieves will reside. There will be no nations for them to intern, no national identities for them to export and appropriate, no currencies for them to evaluate and calculate and estimate. There will be only one world, under one song, unified by one horn, birthed by one voice, the voice that explodes out of Fella's two lungs.